In this video, I want to answer one simple question. Why is a Barracuda size surveying and land planning company in the best position to give you great client service? So I talk in some of my other videos about the three sizes of surveying company. I talk about minnows, barracudas, and whales and the differences in those. I'm not going to get into that in this video, but I do want to talk about why a Barracuda, which is a medium-sized firm, 2 to 20 people, why I think Barracuda-sized firm like Redefined Horizons is in a great position to give you great client service. And I have another video that talks about the 4 aspects of great client service, why it's so important. Everybody's happier when clients get great service from your consultant. The client's happier, the consultant's happier. So it's important. So why are Barracuda sized surveying companies in a good position to give you great service, especially if you have a small to medium sized project? So you're doing a shopping center, light industrial, small subdivision, mixed use project. Maybe you're buying and selling some large farmland parcels. You know, why is a medium sized firm a really good fit in those circumstances? So I'm going to give you 3 reasons. Don't want this video to take too long. So one reason is that most Barracuda-sized surveying companies are trying to maintain long-term relationships with their client. So they're not having what I call transactional relationships, where they're just working with the client one time. You know, most of the time, a medium-sized survey firm, you know, they either have long-term relationships with the client, or they're trying to build long-term relationships with the client. And so our company, Redefined Horizons, is an example of that. You know, most of our work about 90% of our work comes from just a handful of clients, and those clients have worked with me for years. And so we appreciate that. It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing in business to have those kinds of relationships. They're rare, and so we appreciate having those. But so part of what that does when you're working with a medium-sized survey company, and he wants your business, you know, he knows you're going to have another project. If you're a real estate investor or a real estate broker or a land developer, you know, he knows this isn't your last project. You're going to have additional projects, and he wants to keep working with you, or she wants to keep working with you. Could be a lady surveyor or a land planner. And so what that means is they've got some skin in the game, right? So they're going to have an incentive to keep you happy. If you're a good client, they're going to want to keep you happy. And so you're just going to have a different relationship with them. You know, and I kind of explain it, you know, it's like the difference between if you're traveling and you go into a restaurant to grab a bite to eat, you know, you're never going to see that waiter's never going to see you again. You're never going to see them again. And so that changes both sides of that relationship, right? The waiter or waitress has never seen you. They may not, you know, you might not get great service. If you're not going to be there again, you may not leave a great tip, but you kind of contrast that to, we've got a couple good restaurants across the street from our office in Oakdale, and despite my efforts to have a good diet, you know, I'm in there a couple times a week, at least a couple times a week. And so, you know, you get to know the staff, you get to know the owner and the cook, and you get to know the waitress or the waiter, and you know, you get to know them on a first name basis, and you know, they give you great service because you're a regular customer, and you leave good tips because you want great service when you go back. And so that's the kind of relationship most medium-sized survey firms are looking to build, and it's certainly the type of relationship that we're looking to build at Redefined Horizons. It's one of the reasons why we don't do lot surveys as a general rule. So that's the first reason why I think Barracudas are in a good position to give you great client service. The second reason is in most cases when you're dealing with a Barracuda-sized surveying company, you're going to have a direct relationship with a licensed surveyor as the client. So a lot of bigger firms, you might get pushed down to junior staff, but most medium-sized firms, that's not going to be the case. It certainly isn't the case at Redefined Horizons. I mentioned in another video, when you call our office at Redefined Horizons, there's a good chance I'm going to pick up the phone. All my clients have my personal cell phone number. They text me all the time. You know, they text me at dinner, and they text me on Saturday afternoon. I had a land attorney a few weeks ago. You know, he's blowing my phone up on Sunday evening because he was having a crisis and needed my help. And that's okay. We're in the business to take really good care of our clients. And that, you know, if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to answer your phone for an emergency call on Sunday evening, then you probably shouldn't be a consultant. You should get into a different line of work. So the relationships I have with those clients, they know me on a first name basis. I know them on a first name basis. I know how many kids they have. I know, are they on their first marriage or their third marriage? I know what kind of car they drive. I know what sports team they like. They know a lot about me. They know my wife's name. They know I love dogs. They know I like to hike. It's a different kind of relationship, and it's a beautiful relationship to have in business. And so because you have that kind of relationship, with directly with the land surveyor who's calling the shots on your project, making the judgment calls, you're just going to get better service. You're going to get great client service as a general rule. You should be getting that kind of service. The third reason why a Barracuda is in a good position to give you great client service is that small to mid-sized projects are going to be important to them. So one of the problems you get into when you work with a real big firm is, if you have a small project, and by small in air quotes, I'm talking $100,000 or less, you might not be that important. And you might find that your project's not getting the resources it needs, that the consultant's not meeting your schedule, that they're not responding to your emails and phone calls. And, I've been in the table with executive management teams at large firms, and, I've been in the room when the decision has been made to allocate resources away from small projects to billion-dollar clients or multi-million-dollar clients. And I'm not even saying I fault the individuals for making those decisions. That's how their incentives are set up. But it's certainly not fair to you if you're a small client. So one of the nice things about working with the Barracuda is, if you've got a smaller project, you're going to still be really important to that consultant team, and because of that, they're going to take care of you. And I'll just throw some rough numbers out. I would say our average size project at Redefined Horizons is around $20,000. We have a lot of projects. If we're just doing a retracement survey or an Alta survey, land title survey, it might be $10,000 or $15,000. If we're doing something as simple as an elevation certificate or a LOMAR or a LOMA, some flood related thing, it might be a few $1,000s, might be $3,000 or $5,000. And certainly, very few of our projects approach the $100,000 level. So, if you walk into my door at Redefined Horizons with a $30,000 or $40,000 or $60,000 project, right off the bat, you are going to be one of our most important clients, and you're going to get great service. So, I encourage you, if you're a real estate investor or developer, a real estate broker, and your average, the value of the average surveying service that you're getting as part of your typical transaction is, $10,000 or $20,000, then I encourage you to work with a mid-sized consultant. Don't hire a huge firm. Chances are they're not going to take good care of you. But you need a medium-sized firm because you want to work with a real business and, somebody that's fairly sophisticated and that, is using modern equipment. You don't want to work with the guy that's, the retired Department of Transportation employee working out of his garage and his brother's sister's kid is his Rob, man. You don't want that either. So those are the three reasons why I think a Barracuda size surveying company, land planning company is in a good position to give you great client service. Number one, they want to maintain long-term relationships. Number two, you're going to have a personal relationship with a licensed land surveyor at that company who's making decisions about your project, or you should. And number three, small to mid-sized projects are going to be really important at a mid-sized firm. And if you're bringing in those projects on a regular basis, you're going to be one of that company's best clients, and you're going to be treated like one of their best clients.